is actually negative, so it's actually 11.4. Yes.
So why do you position it DC instead of CD?
Why do I, in this case, what I did was, for my easy visualization, right, because this is DC, right, so I just basically collapse this down.
If I put it as CD, right, the values will, the negative and positive will swap.
See, if you want to correct, the thing is that if you do this way, if you actually, you will flip it the other way around. Instead of flipping this way, right, instead of flipping this way, you flip this way, right? Okay, so if you flip this way, it's the same thing. That means is that your it's still the same.
But your values will change. It becomes negative 5.5 and positive 11.4.
Okay, so how you see will be correct. So that means that you have to see how you so maybe what you see would be depending on which direction you're actually looking at.
But so would that still be correct? Negative 5.5 and positive 11.4.
Okay, let me see. Because BC and
the 11.4 will become
hogging, right? D
yes.
becomes hogging and C becomes sagging. Alright. Alright, I would think that I mean it does matter because the thing is that by doing that, you know that it has to be for D has to be a positive bending moment and C has to be a negative. So what I'm thinking of, if you do it this way, and then you have to probably do your what is this? Okay, if you do it this way, right? I mean, okay, so you're saying that DC you can actually, I'm actually flipping from here to downwards, right? So you flip the other way around. If it's going to be for AB, it's going to be different as well. Correct? If you were to flip it this way, E becomes sagging. Correct. So if I were to do it this way, so the whole thing becomes sagging. If I'm to actually AB, because now AB I'm actually flipping in this manner. Right. So if you were to do it this way, it becomes negative. I mean, it becomes a sagging kind of like mode. Yeah. So I mean, probably what you say is right. So you really have to flip it correctly, you know.
So if one I flip clockwise, I have to flip clockwise for everything.
Yes, I would say that probably you want to actually, if everything flip clockwise, you want to actually flip clockwise accordingly. Alright, because of course if you don't, right, you can actually state on this one as well. You can actually see such a way that right. So this one actually is something similar to example. I mean, page 8 example, right? Okay, so it really depends on how you actually going to flip it, right? Okay, I mean for that, I can actually clarify again. I can come back to you, right, to see whether how it's going to flip going to be. Because what I'm following is that if you look at the example 8 solution, I mean the page 8 example, I mean the solution for page 8, right? Basically, we are doing a clockwise, kind of like flipping down. All right. Yes.
When you know, because your A and B you draw like quite linear, right? Then the last which you drew is
Curve, is it?
curve. Yeah. When you know when to draw a curve or when to draw linear.
Okay. So the question is that how do you know it's a curve and how do you know it's a linear, right? A and B. All right. So the thing is that it's actually the characteristics for because the last time I draw a curve because it's a uniformly distributed load. Alright, a uniformly distributed load is actually a parabola. Right, if it's a point load, it is actually a point. So you can see from here this is a point load, right? And where is the middle? The middle, the load is actually acted right at the middle. Right, so the maximum will be actually at the middle. That is actually the characteristics of bending moment if you are having a point load. Alright? So if it's a point load, so one means that the maximum moment, right, actually corresponds to the position of the point load. Alright, so if it's because this is a point load, that's why the shape is actually in a linear, not the parabolic shape. Alright? Okay, good. So let me just, I guess this is really an example for you to actually go through, right? You must get familiar with all the, as in working out on the moment distribution table, and then you have to actually draw the penny moment diagram, right? So probably I don't need to, because due to time, right, of course I don't need to go through all the solutions for question C, right? Because for 3C, right, you know that it's something, let me see where is question 3C, right? Okay, so for question 3C, it's the same thing as this is the structure, right? Of course the structure is actually just more complicated, right? It has actually, I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 members now. Alright, so and for this case, there are actually two loading conditions now. There are actually 2 point loads in member AB and also member BC. Right? So it will, same thing is also asking you to find out what is the popping force. The popping force again is that you have to actually find out what are all the forces that are actually acting in the horizontal direction along this axis. Alright? So with that, if you look through the solution, again is that you still have to actually work through the distribution factor, right, at all the nodes, right? So working through already, you will then have to, right? So after working out the distribution factor, right, you then have to go and complete this table, right? So this is a big table that you have to actually really work on it. So nothing mentioned, nothing difference from the first 2 tables that I actually presented, right? So you really have to actually go through the steps and make sure that, so for this case now, you know that node A is shared by 2 members, right? And of course, the more complicated one will be your node B is now shared by 3 members. That's why you have actually 3 columns for node B. Right, and then for node C, you have actually 2 members. Right, and then for your E and F, they only have actually 1 member each. Right, so make sure that you work out on the same, so this is actually where you work out the distribution factor. Right, after the distribution factor, you will then have to work out the first row is the fixed end moment. Right, this fixed end moment is really you use, so this time round is actually based on the point load. Right, based on the point load, you can actually calculate what is the fixed end moment for member, this is member BA, right, AB, and this is member BC. Right, after that, the first level is to do a distribution. Right, distribution, you need to take the minus sign already. And the rest will be carryover, distribution, carryover, distribution. After that, you reach such a point that the last row is actually 1% of the original value. You can stop and you can just sum it up. Right, so this is all the bending moment at all the nodes at different members, which is the last row. Again, you can see that if you can, at the common node, right, all this has to be summation, all have to be added up to be 0. Right, so you can see these 2 numbers are 0, and these 3 numbers, if you add together, are 0, and these 2 numbers add together are almost 0 as well. Right, so after that, the next thing will be, you will then be able to calculate the popping force. After calculating the popping force, you will then be able to draw the bending moment diagram. Alright, okay, so I guess I took a lot of time in actually going through. Hopefully, you can really actually follow the entire steps, so you can actually go and try your question 3, right? Of course, you will be able to try other questions in the exam questions as well, in the exam papers. Alright, okay, good. So I think in due of time, I know that I guess you all should have actually received an email, right? That there's going to be an additional lecture today at I think 4 to 5. Okay, so the venue is Lt4B. Alright, okay, and so good. Have a good lunch break.